Hey guys, so I'm going to talk to you guys about everything that's going on and well, not what's going on, but with everything that's going on and people being scared and, you know, trying to figure out preparedness and all that stuff. A lot of people are getting really overwhelmed. They're seeing people running around in kits that are super expensive or super unavailable, and they're trying to figure out, how do I do this if there isn't anything out there? I'm going to try to speak on that, and because there's things that are way more important than just cool guy gear that are going to be like food, because it's really hard to look cool when you're hungry. So we're going to talk about what I'm wearing right now, loadout wise, and how you can implement a maybe a simpler version of it, or a much more affordable or much more available option that actually might make more sense for your situation. So some of it's going to stay the same, and we're going to talk about variations, and other things are going to be completely replaced with other options if you are not able, whether financially or just availability wise, to do that. Because honestly, people look at the gun part and they're like, wow, that's so cool, and that's the part that's like super sexy and everything, and really it's not. It's the worst part of it. The fact that it's even part of it sucks. And let's get that box checked, and then start training and start putting back food and things that are actually more important. There's no point in having a bunch of cool guns and kit if you don't have anything to defend because you died of starvation 6 months ago. So anyway, so right now I'm wearing an example of what might be considered like the cool Instagram operator kit, right? We've got the Spirit Systems chest rig, got an S-Tac Kiwi 1+2 gap pouch, and a Safariland ALS RDS, which is a active locking system for a red dot sight with a Surefire X300. So let's go over some of that, and then we'll talk about some options to do differently. So, well, I'm going the wrong way. Super good at this. So I'm just gonna back this up so you can see everything. So, in the interest of full honesty, I've got nothing in the admin stuff. This would be range cards, map markers, things like that. And then you'd probably want to have a medical hanger underneath here. Since this is not the kit I run, I'm just using it because it is recognizable. I actually don't necessarily prefer this kit. I think it's kind of it's kind of weirdly designed. It's good for what it is, but I don't think it's super appropriate for most people. Anyway, so I've got the Spirit System rig, the Safariland holster, and then the S-Tac Kiwi. Then you'd want to run some kind of medical, of course. I don't have it on because I've got it set up behind me. So let's talk about some things, right? This is like $170 just for this kit alone, not including magazines or ammunition. It's windy. All right. So it's like a $160 kit, and it really, right now, if you're still trying to figure out the food and everything else, it could be better spent elsewhere. So you got $160 right here. This holster set up about the same, a little bit more. And then you have $70 in this pouch right here. That's before you get into magazines, that's before you get into ammunition, that's before you get into the actual guns and crap that go on them. And a lot of people see this stuff and get pretty overwhelmed, not realizing that all these people that they're seeing have been working on all this crap for years. So they didn't do this over a weekend, unless they're in a massive amount of credit card debt, probably. And Dave Ramsey's making fun of them. So let's talk about how you can replace some of this stuff. We're going to start with the Spirit Systems rig, and this is going to get replaced with a much easier to find option that's also much faster to don or put on. Had a dang old magazine somewhere. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I'll use. So this is a USGI desert tricolor USGI bandolier, and for carrying the mainstay of your ammunition, that's what I would recommend if you're just starting out at this thing, because this will always be something that is extraordinarily useful for you. So here I've got it loaded. These are all empty, by the way, just for demonstration purposes, but just showing that you can fit the USGI and the Lancer magazines. The Magpul magazines will not fit on here because the base plates are too wide to allow the flaps to close. But I have not had an issue so far with magazine fitment with the Lancers or the standard USGI aluminum body magazines. It's a standard button flap closure. You're not going to want to have these open when you're running around because you'll lose magazines. You're going to use this to feed directly to your rifle in a stagnant position, whether that be a defensive position or support by fire position. Generally speaking, when you're actually on patrol or moving around, I'm still going to recommend that you go with some kind of fancy magazine carrier. I really do like the STAC ones, so you can come down and go right into magazine changes, and then you have your pistol options, of course, to keep your pistol up. And that is because if you are not the one that decided to start shooting, you are going to need a lot more mobility than anything else. And having one magazine to top your rifle off after a mag dump when you're breaking contact or whatever, just to get you out of that situation right now, is going to be a pretty important thing. Now, if you're on a strict budget or you can't find like the high-speed gear tacos or the Kiwis or the freaking T-Rex arms, fast mags, or whatever else, you can always go with the standard USGI 2-mag Velcro pouch and then only put one magazine in it. That will allow you to have a pretty quick access magazine, and they're like free, damn near. They're like $5. So get one in ACU, rattle can it, so it doesn't look like your grandma's couch, and that'll work just fine. Then you're going to want to probably have a way to carry a handgun if you are carrying one, and that is if you're deciding to carry a handgun. Whatever you carry daily, just run that. Run it on the 4 o'clock position, so it's out of your way when you're doing everything. If you need to go prone, it's not there in your way. And so there's that. That's, you hopefully already have that and a good sturdy belt to put that those magazine pouches on, and that's going to pretty much cover your emergency magazines, whether it be malfunction or emergency reload. And then you've got the USGI bandolier to feed that, or to directly feed your rifle in stagnant situations. And then as far as medical and administrative stuff goes, as far as administrative, in this case, because we're going to be talking about what we're talking about, it'll be a little bit more inclusive. But on a chest rig or a plate carrier, it would be like your maybe your compass, your map markers, maybe a map, your range card, things like that. A signal, wolf tails and such for signaling, your shifts and lifts and whatnot. And all this stuff I'll talk about later, so you guys understand what that is. But for right now, just stuff that will support you in the fight. However, with this option, we're going to be carrying a little bit more than that. So my medical and administrative stuff is going to go in a backpack. It's a simple backpack. Now this backpack has some use on it, and but it's a pretty awesome option, because what I have here is more medical than you could possibly ever fit reasonably on a chest rig, and it weighs pretty much nothing. I've got a liter of water, medical here, and an IFAK. This whole bottom box right here is nothing but medical, and then I have splints and such in this reservoir, along with signal and calories to support me for 12 to 24 hours. Then up here in this top pouch, I've got my compass. I've got well, you actually would probably want to keep your compass in a pocket or something so you can actually get access to it. But you can keep your map markers, your range cards, all that crap. You can keep a pair of socks in here. And then I've got my iPro right here hooked up on the side. And this right here is actually a pretty awesome way to check that box, because your administrative stuff, you don't need it immediately. Now, you should still have things like a tourniquet on you, but just like you should have one right now in your pocket. So your tourniquet, checking that box should be fairly simple, because it should be in your cargo pocket or in your wherever you keep your tourniquet on your daily carry. Just don't change it. Just keep it where it is. Then you have your immediate access stuff for care under fire, and then you have all the other stuff right here, and it's as simple as taking it off and getting access to everything you could possibly need, reasonably speaking. Now, everything together. Now, again, I'm not going to take this holster off because it's a pain in the ass, but but let's talk really quickly about getting everything on. Now, I quickly adjusted this, so it's kind of awkward, but This is, I'm gonna loosen it just a hair. It's just a simple slider. And this is literally, you just hold it, arm through, head through, and then take a carabiner and put it through this loop right here, and you connect that to your belt loop down here, which of course I've covered. Now if you have a rigger's belt, you can hook this into your D-ring or your webbing strap. I've always just done it off the belt loop. I haven't ever found a pair of pants that it didn't work with, so you shouldn't have any problems there. At least I have not. But this is literally just this is just a plastic carabiner. You can use a metal one and just make sure it's not super shiny. And then that is going to connect down, so that way when you run, it's fairly secure to your body. Now this is unsecured. You can secure that if you want to. I don't worry about it. And this is going to give you the ability to supply your magazines and feed that rifle, or to feed your immediate option for ammunition. And since you only have the one strap, your interferences are pretty minimal. This is pretty thin, so you really don't even notice it under your backpack strap. And everything together works out pretty good. The only thing to watch out for if you're running your standard carry holster is making sure that your if you run your waist strap, which I do not on this unless I'm running around. Actually, it's not even secured right now. That's funny. But anyway, make sure your waist strap isn't interfering with getting your holster out, or having the potential of getting this strap down into your dang holster. What I do is I just clip it behind me, and that just keeps it out of the way, and you can get everything out just fine. And this doesn't interfere. You can still get everything if you need to. And then should you need any of your equipment in your backpack, just take it off, sew it back on, just, you know, like a standard backpack. And this whole system right here is going to be cheaper than any single part of what I just showed you, as far as this holster and everything is concerned. This little magazine caddy right here, this little USGI bandolier, it's going to be anywhere from like $9 to $20. You can find them at any surplus shop. They're everywhere. And then you can find yourself a cheap small bag that's in a subdued color, and put your medical in there, put your food in there, put your administrative stuff that you need in there, face paint and such. And that'll check you off, so that you can put all your other resources into time, into your time and money, into training, into getting things that you need to support your actual life, and into networking with buddies and getting used to actually using your kit. So everything I'm showing you right now is fairly available, and you can find holdouts of it if you need to, flex around on what you're using. Now, eventually, if you do step up and get higher quality kit, what you'll start using this for is, I use this for my everyday bag. This has my medical stuff and has my medical, has my 24-hour sustainment, so it's my get-home bag, so to speak. And then I use this magazine pouch for standard range stuff or for preparedness, and then I use this actually inside of a backpack to support by fire with ammunition. So it's stuff that will maintain value to you even after you move on and get higher quality kit eventually, if you do decide to do that. So that's what I recommend. These, like I said, these are like 10 to 20 bucks. These are oh goodness, I got this for like 35 or 40 bucks with a reservoir for like basically nothing. I've used it for years. And then a magazine pouch. This will probably be the most spendy part right there for you, other than your holster and your EDC belt, which you should probably already have anyway. If you do not, the wilderness belts are great. There's the Aries belts. There's a bunch of them out there that are super fine. For holsters that are like for EDC holsters, I recommend Works holsters because they make the best light bearing holster that I'm currently aware of. I do work for the company, so for whatever that bias might be, it is what it is. But they are pretty awesome. I recommend TRX Arms as well, just because of who they are and how they are as a company. I think it's pretty awesome, and we should support people like that. But it is what it is. They're a great company. They make pretty good products. I would say that ours, depending on what you're looking for, could be classified as better. It is a better light bearing holster in my opinion. But their appendix rigs are pretty cool. But you can set ours up just like that, and you'll actually have proper retention with a light bearing holster. So we'll do a comparison sometime under a couple of things. I've bought tier 1 in the past. The air holsters are pretty good for concealment. Everything else is kind of okay. But they do conceal really well, and they're fairly comfortable, so for whatever that's worth to you. Their lead times are insane, and their prices are insane. So, and I've never seen them being active. I could just not be following them, I don't know. But anyway, this is just to help you guys kind of figure this thing out so you can start focusing your time on more important stuff like training, networking, putting food back, working on your physical and spiritual fitness, and just becoming a better person every day. We'll be doing a series on that, on as far as improving your physical and spiritual fitness. But I would start by reading the Tanakh or the Old Testament and doing your best to follow what is prescribed to us by the Torah and what Yeshua, or who you know as Jesus, probably taught. So that has been an amazing thing for our life. I highly recommend checking out the Bear Independent channel, as if you haven't heard of him and you somehow find me. But he has a Shabbat playlist that has been awesome for me and my family, and it's really been inspirational for us. So do what you will with that. Y'all have a blessed day. Oh, no matter Rifleman, because everywhere deserves good and capable, well-equipped and not ripped off Rifleman. Y'all have a blessed day.